Hey, it's another day and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I have been so excited about. I think health has been on a lot of people's minds lately, and I believe that health is not just a bunch of giant big changes in your life. I think it can be lots of little small ones that you do just consistently, and they don't have to be very painful at all. You don't have to always be sweating to be healthy or eating lettuce to be healthy, if that makes any sense. And you might be shocked, like, Megan, why are you trying to make a video about health and fitness and stuff? Because you are not a fitness guru. You're just like a Mennonite mom, stay-at-home mom, whatever. But I think this video needed to be made by somebody like me, because there's so many of us out there that feel so like overwhelmed and think that we have to be like hitting the gym and like counting our macros and stuff to be healthy. And that is not true at all. You can make little small lifestyle changes to just be better and feel better each day. And so I wanted to make this video coming to you as a stay-at-home mom and just being in a stage of life where you don't have time to prioritize a ton of workout time, but you still want to feel healthy, look good, and just, yeah, have a better, healthier lifestyle overall. Some of these things you've definitely heard before, some of them you have not. I'm just hoping that even if you implement a handful of these ideas, that you will start to look better, feel better. I was fortunate enough to lose the baby weight after both kids decently quickly. I will say, I think some of it had to do with just my active like self, like I don't sit still. Some of it also might do with just my genetics and body composition, and honestly, some of it was just from hard work and common sense. So everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different. Everybody's goals are going to be a little bit different. I'm just hoping that with these practical tips, it's going to help you get your life back on track if it hasn't been. How many of you made a resolution in January that you wanted to get more in shape this year or lose weight like so many people in America do? And guess what? Today is the first day of spring. Happy spring, guys! But that's why I wanted to make this video for today, because if you live in like the northern US, this is like the time of year to get going when it comes to movement and activity, because it's soon gonna get hot and you're not gonna feel like getting started, or it's gonna be cold in wintertime again and you're not gonna feel like getting started. Get into some good habits right now while the weather is ideal. Your body's gonna soon start to crave activity and motion, and it'll be a lot easier to power through those tough summer and winter months that are coming up after springtime. So I'm hoping this video is like a good kick you in the butt, let's get up off the couch, let's get going type of a video. And if that's not your personality, stick around anyway, because I think there's going to be some other more practical, low-key, common sense tips that I think will help you guys out a lot as well. I'm not going to just be sitting here talking at you the whole time. We're going to have some B-roll going on here. I'm going to show you some things that I'm talking about. I hope it's more of like a show and tell or something like that. So subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's get into it. So this first one might not sound like a fitness tip or a health tip at all, but it is. And my advice to you is to get dressed every morning that you can. For me, I just cannot be motivated to do anything if I'm not dressed and ready to go. If I don't comb my hair, like that's a huge one for me. Yeah, it just makes a huge difference in my day if I feel motivated. I'm not saying you have to work out first thing in the morning or anything like that, but get dressed at least. Speaking of getting dressed, I just wanted to show you my outfit here that I'm wearing really quickly. This is one of my favorite workout outfits. It's just an Adidas shirt that I picked up at Ross, I think. And then I also have this New Balance track jacket that I picked up at the same place again, Ross or Burlington probably. And also I have this skirt from the Main Street Exchange. I love to wear this to work out, but it's super comfy for other things as well. And also my sneakers are Brooks sneakers. They're not necessarily my favorite. They're super, super comfortable, but as far as looks go, they're not necessarily my favorite. But I'm limited in the shoes I can wear because I kind of have a foot issue like I was born with. Didn't realize it till just about half a year ago, but I just want to take good care of my feet and wear good shoes, and that means good quality. So I'm not saying you have to go out and buy specific stuff for working out before you can work out. You can work out in anything that's comfortable, and you don't even necessarily need to work out at all. You'll find more out about that as I go through this video. My next tip also goes kind of with clothing, and that is keep a pair of sneakers in your car, just in case you are on the way somewhere and you need to kill a couple minutes, or it's an extra beautiful day and you want to go on a walk. Guys, this is the most beautiful time of the year coming up if you live in the northern area of the US. It finally is going to be springtime, warmer, and if you cannot make yourself commit to moving now this time of year, it's only going to get harder when it gets super hot outside, and then again in the winter when it's super cold. So I recommend that you start developing some outdoor movement habits now while the weather is ideal. That way your body learns to crave movement and exercise. And I use the word exercise so hesitantly because I know people are like, they don't have time to exercise, or they don't want to prioritize it, or it just sounds like super scary. But I'm just talking about movement in general. You can shoot hoops with your kids or push them on the swings and run a lap around each time as you push them. You can take kids on walks, which actually brings me to my next tip, which is get a good jogging stroller. And yeah, a good jogging stroller goes a long, long way. My favorite brand is Phil and Ted's. I picked this one up here off of Facebook Marketplace, but Phil and Ted's was so kind and they actually sent me their newest model. It's so slick. Take a look at this one. Here you can see how it has a front seat and a back seat, and you can pop the back seat on or off super easily. I get questions all the time. Do your kids actually like sitting like in the back? They can't even see, and you know what? They do not mind at all, but I have to say it might also be because they're used to it from a very young age. I love going on walks with my kids. I walk with my newborns, I walk with my toddlers. This Phil and Ted stroller is so versatile. It's narrow enough to fit on sidewalks, and yeah, it's just a really quality stroller. It's easy to find double strollers, but it's really hard to find a good double jogging stroller. So yeah, I will put a link down below for this one. You might want to check out on Facebook Marketplace first, but yeah, Phil and Ted's really has a good thing going, and I'm always gonna own one. Another tip I have for you, if you do not feel like working out, just do 10 jumping jacks and 10 squats, or 10 sit-ups and a 1-minute wall plank, something like that. Just start out and have like a goal that small, and then you might find out that you want to keep going, that you know what, you feel like it. I know sometimes with moms in our stage of life, it feels like you're just tired all the time because of all the things you have to do with kids, and they're just, I don't know, my children are 2 and 1, so they're super needy yet, and sometimes we forget to prioritize ourselves. So if you don't feel like working out but you know you should, just do something really small like that, and you can keep going if you feel like it, or if you don't, you can stop right then too. It's still a little bit is better than nothing at all. Another quick idea is run to the mailbox, check the mail, and come back again. Just a quick little sprint will get your heart rate up. And yeah, like I said, better than nothing. Okay, most of my tips today are gonna be free, but I did wanna talk about my Fitbit, and I will link mine down below. It's an older model, but it's like nice and sleek and simple and doesn't have a million options. And you can find all kinds of pretty bands for it. Right now I'm just wearing a black one, but I have a gold one, I have like a slate blue colored one. Yeah, you can find really, they don't have to look active. You know what I'm saying? They can look pretty and classy and even dressy. So I'll definitely link some of those down below. But a Fitbit is awesome because it tracks your steps. It encourages me to like work on my steps and try to get 10,000 in a day. I remember already I would like head off to bed and realize, oh my word, about 9,400 and some steps. So I just feel like go run around the house quick, or you know, if I'm already ready for bed, I would just like jog in place or go up and down the hallway. Or Josh thought I was nuts, and I probably was, but hey, I lived in a tiny little house and I didn't get a lot of steps in a day if I didn't make a special effort to. So I was glad for my Fitbit. It encouraged me to keep moving. If you haven't gotten on to the Fitbit craze, I know it's kind of come and gone. I still love it. I've worn my Fitbit solid, even to sleep at night for probably the last 3 years. I only take it off to shower. Another tip I have is to make friends with active people if that is a possibility. Okay, I have some tips here with hunger and eating. First tip is do the next thing and then still see if you still want it. Maybe throw in another load of laundry or wipe down the kitchen table and see if you're still craving whatever you were thinking about 5 minutes ago that you wanted. Maybe you won't even want it anymore. Another tip I have is to use cinnamon. Cinnamon is actually, I believe, helps you to lose weight, and it just makes things taste sweet and decadent and just special. And if you put cinnamon on something, it's not adding any extra calories or anything like that, but it makes it feel like, I don't know, a kind of cheat meal or something. I like putting cinnamon on my applesauce. It makes it feel less of a childish food. Also, another tip that I like to do is not drink my calories. I really like that hand-to-mouth satisfaction of like crunching on something, so I would rather eat an apple or banana or whatever rather than having a smoothie and just drinking that, because after I drink my smoothie, I feel like I still haven't eaten anything. That's just me, but maybe that's a tip for you as well. Try to stick to mostly eating your food like in its actual state. I'm not knocking smoothies at all. I do like smoothies, but I don't know, I feel like it's just a way for me to eat more food at the end of the day if I do a smoothie than if I just eat the actual food itself. So chew on the banana, crunch on the grapes, even like unhealthy things, you know, enjoy them as you're eating them so you don't need as many of, you know, chips or cheese curls or whatever. Don't mindlessly eat. Make it kind of an event or like mealtime. I know with being a mom of little kids, it can be hard sometimes, but yeah, do your best. Keep flavor infused icy water sitting around. This is something that is probably wrapped up in my identity. Like, this is Megan, 100%. I love to drink water. I will throw a tea bag in, or I'll throw like in some mint leaves and some strawberries, lemons, limes, oranges. I should do a whole video sometime of different recipes of infused water. Oh my goodness, I love infused water so much. Makes me want to drink more. And yeah, it's just, right now we're getting into more spring and summer months, so the options are endless when it comes to fresh fruit, but don't feel like you need fresh fruit. You can just do a tea bag, or, you know, some herbs if you have some herbs growing. Actually, it sounds really disgusting, but basil and strawberry is an insanely amazing combination. So yeah, I think that if you can find a way to trick yourself into drinking more water, that's always a good thing. Another tip, if you're starting to have a craving and you really don't want to eat, brush your teeth. The mint flavor in your mouth might make you decide you don't really feel like eating, and you don't want to make your teeth dirty right after you just brush them. So that helps for me sometimes. Another idea with that is to chew gum. You're gonna feel like you're eating when you really aren't. I'm not a huge gum chewer though, but I've done it already in the past. If I really want something and I know I shouldn't have it, try gum. Another thing to stave off hunger is possibly, are you just thirsty? Drink a whole bunch of water. Sometimes that's, you think you are hungry, but you're really just craving the water inside the food that you're thinking about eating. Drink a bunch of water. Maybe that's all you really needed. Another tip is to reach for an apple first. And then if you're still hungry after the apple, then you can go ahead and have those Cheez-Its or Doritos or whatever you were really wanting. Along with that, recognize when only the real thing will do. I have a little story here. Back a couple years ago, I gave up chocolate for Lent. And I'm not Catholic or anything like that, but I thought it was a good practice to try to give something up for 40 days. I still do it randomly if I feel like I need to. Anyway, I gave up chocolate for those 40 days and I gained 5 pounds because, hear me out, I would crave chocolate so much. And so I would try to eat like a sweet granola bar, and then I would eat like, I don't know, some sweet ice cream that didn't have chocolate in it, and like all this stuff to try to satiate my craving for chocolate. If I would have just eaten like 2 little Dove chocolate bites, or, you know, a handful of M&Ms or something, it probably would have totally cured it, and that would have been that. But since I was trying to satisfy that craving but not eat chocolate, yeah, it didn't work. I found out I was eating more than I normally actually would. So be smart, realize when only the real food will do, and then just have a small amount of it. And as you can tell, chocolate is my weakness. Another thing along with chocolate is pinpoint your hang-ups that you often feel like you're really craving and find a healthier alternative to it. So maybe you really, really like peanut butter. Well, maybe you can get yourself onto a healthier version. For me, I just adore puppy chow. It is so good. But I've learned that if I just eat a handful of Chex cereal and a handful of M&Ms, still doesn't sound that healthy, but it's still better than all that 10x sugar and peanut butter and margarine and everything that goes into puppy chow. And it satisfied my craving just fine for that sweet and salty type of thing. And I could go on and not worry about it again. So figure out your hang-ups and figure out a creative way to maybe make them a little more healthy and still satisfying at the same time. Some more things with meal times and stuff. Being a mom, this can be hard, but I try to sit down and eat meals with my kids for the most part. My kids don't eat their breakfast usually till like 9 or 9:30 if we're not going away. And so that's usually when I sit down and eat as well. And I feel like I get headachy if I don't eat something, you know, decently soon. But my point is that treat it like a meal time. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, it's breakfast time, I'll just eat a bite here and there as I'm like trying to get some work done at the beginning of the day. And I found that it's better to actually just sit down and like enjoy it, mindfully eat it, and not multitask while you're eating. That way your body realizes and your mind realizes that you ate, and now you don't need to eat again for a little while. Chew more and eat slower. I try this often because I'm a very fast eater, so that's a good tip for us fast eaters out there. Another tip for mealtime is sit beside your baby or your toddler, and as you're trying to feed them, you know, it slows you down when you're eating because you're doing 2 things at once. You're feeding them and you're feeding yourself. And you won't be eating quite so much. Your body will realize that you are full a lot sooner. Another tip that I try to do is not keep problem foods in the house. And if you really are craving a problem food like puppy chow, do you guys even know what puppy chow is? I'll put my recipe down below that I like to make, which I think it's a super common recipe that a lot of people like. But yeah, puppy chow is so delicious. You can tell I'm craving it right now, can't you? But something that I will do if there's something I really love and I want some of it is I will make some for friends or like for a company, and then I'll just eat a little bit of it, and the friends or company, like guests, will help eat the rest, and then it's not sitting around for like a whole week straight. So yeah, that's just a tip I like to do sometimes. Save my problem foods for a special occasion and then have other people sharing it with me so I can't eat the whole bag myself. Never eat a whole bag of anything or sit down to a bag of something. Portion it out into like a bowl or on a plate. That way, I know for myself I could eat so much more than I realized just because I'm pulling it right out of the bag and not portioning it out ahead of time. One thing I think should definitely get changed is people's fear of not eating all their food and taking it home. Guys, there are so many good things that I've taken home from our restaurant and heated up the next day that were amazing. They were just as good the next day, whatever. Another tip for French fries, if you have leftover French fries, take them home, put them on a pan in the oven, and that'll crisp them right up. They won't be soggy like if you just put them in the microwave to heat them up. But back to the whole taking your leftovers home, what I like to do right when I get my meal is, if it's a sandwich, it's usually cut in half already anyway. But if it's not, like, portion it in 2 halves and then eat the first half, eat your salad or whatever you have with it. I always like to drink water. I just don't like to drink my calories, but that's me. No shame if you want your sweet tea or whatever. But then after I'm done with that, I sit there and wait a little bit and talk, whatever, and then see if I still want the second half. Sometimes I definitely do want the second half, depending on, you know, the portions and stuff. But other times it's like, no, I'm perfectly full. I'm gonna take the other half home and have it for lunch tomorrow. I think if you are scared to take leftovers home because you think they're not gonna be as good the next day, try it and see what you think. And there's definitely some foods that are better reheated than others, but fish and mashed potatoes and most meats, they're totally fine reheated. Bread, not quite so much, but you can always take the sandwich part out and heat that up and then toast the bread, and it really is good, guys. It also saves you money. Another tip when it comes to snacking at home is break it in half and see if you want both halves. It might work, it might not. I know most of the time for me, it doesn't always work. I want both halves of my cookie, whatever, but maybe like a cupcake, cut it in half and just eat half of it, and that might be all you need. Another thing I like to do is serve myself on a smaller plate. That way it looks like I'm eating more food than I really am in proportion to the plate size. Rather than having a mammoth plate, then you kind of feel like you need to fill it up. Another tip is to cook with more spices, and spices are just a way to add a lot of flavor without a lot of calories. And cayenne pepper actually is good for weight loss, and if you don't like spicy food, that's fine. I was like that forever. I still am like that. I don't love spicy food, but I can enjoy a little bit of heat nowadays, and I know cayenne pepper is pretty good for you and your metabolism. So try cooking with more spices instead of so much fatty things like butter and sauces and things like that. Kick it up with some spices. Also with that, if you guys do not grill much, try to find some fun, good recipes and get your grill out, because it is so much healthier to grill your food than to deep fry it or even to like fry it in the pan or whatever. Grilling your food is super healthy, and there's lots of really good marinades out there or like seasonings and spices to put on your chicken or your steak or whatever. So I just know I'm so looking forward to it. Springtime being here, we get to get our grill out again. Another tip I have for you is while you're standing at the microwave waiting for something to get done, or if you have a little baby and you're heating a bottle up for them and you're waiting for the water to make the bottle warm, do some squats or sit against the wall and do some wall sits, or just use that time just to get 10 reps of something in, lunges or something like that. Sure, your toddlers or your school kids are gonna look at you funny like, what are you doing, mom? But getting that little bit of motion in there, it counts, it works. And honestly, if you do squats a couple times a day, you're gonna be sore the next day if you're not used to it. So yeah, I think that those little things do count. Also, when you're going out to eat, walk through the buffet first. I know you probably heard this tip before, but definitely I do this religiously. If you're at a buffet, I don't love buffets, but I like to walk through the buffet and look what they all have first and make a plan of what I'm really excited about and what I want to eat. If they have really good soups and stuff, I love to start with that, because soups are a lot of work to make, or like a special kind of meat you don't cook at home a lot, things like that. And try not to fill up with too many starchy things. Speaking of starches, something that we do is I don't feel like you need to have 3 courses to make it a meal. You probably saw in a recent video that I filmed where we just had steak and asparagus. That's super normal for us. I don't make rice and mashed potatoes or noodles very often at all. I consider it a meal if we have a meat and a vegetable, and my husband is totally fine with that. It is fun sometimes to have like a full course meal, but it is not the norm at all. And that tip is easy for us because me and Josh, like, that's not our favorite part of a meal, you know, the noodles or the bread or whatever. So if that's something that's like your favorite and you crave it, I totally get it, I understand it. Another like golden tip you guys have got to do is if you don't love it, just say no. Especially like you go to a family dinner or I don't know, a party or something, and there's this whole spread of desserts and stuff. Look at them and figure out, you know, what is your favorite or what must you have, and then go for that. If you don't really love something, then don't eat it. For me, I love chocolate marshmallow ice cream. I'm not turning that down if if it's around, which is another reason I don't keep it in the house too often either. But I don't love cake, so I will eat the ice cream and not the cake. And yeah, that's just me because I'm not a huge cake person. Maybe you're the opposite way. You don't have to have a little bit of everything when it comes to the dessert table. Okay, this next tip may or may not be in your control, and that is to get your sleep. Your body functions so much better and stays so much healthier if you are getting your sleep. And I know there's different stages of life, but just remember, if you're in a stage of life right now with no sleep, you can get through it and it will get better. And just remember, it's a stage. My kids all slept through the night around 8 weeks. I do have a video about that and how I got that to happen. And it might also just be the kids that I was given as well. It might not all have been what I did, but I definitely think that getting your sleep is super, super valuable, and you should prioritize it. Don't feel like it's being selfish for you to get your sleep. No, you've got to get your sleep for yourself and for your family. And that brings me to one more thing I wanted to discuss, which I know could be controversial. I've seen it on Instagram already. And that's this whole idea of being healthy for your family so you can serve your family and everything. And I'm a Christian, and so I definitely believe, like, if you're a mom, that is like one of the best and most awesome callings you'll ever have to do. And to be of service and be healthy and being able to care for your family is an amazing thing. But I don't feel like that needs to be your main reason why you want to be healthy or get healthy. I think it is totally not selfish to say you want to get healthy for yourself, because you matter too, okay? And you are going to be the one that feels the most benefit from being healthier and having a healthier lifestyle, being more active, eating better foods, putting better foods into your body. And I don't think you just have to do it for the sake of your family. You can do it just for you. And so I just wanted to tell you that if you've been thinking about it and you just don't want to, you don't prioritize your health because you don't think, you think it's kind of selfish, or you'll put that on the back burner and maybe you'll have time for it later, I challenge you to actually prioritize it. Health is so important. And if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, honestly. Nothing really else matters if you don't feel good. Yeah, I hope this video was a little kick in the butt you needed to get going. It's spring, it's the first day of spring. Make a goal, get out there, just do a little bit more or a little bit better than you did yesterday, and I promise you will see the benefits over time. Subscribe for more helpful content from a stay-at-home mom, work-at-home mom, mom of 2 under 2, a Mennonite mom. Yeah, that's me, all those titles. So I really appreciate if you guys stick around and subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, everyone.